that makes people feel uncomfortable, because it could be a reminder to them about what it is that they're not doing. And I'm not criticizing those people for how they feel in that way, but what I would say is you guys can stay salty, or you can do something about it and better yourselves.
Richard Fortin Presents. Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Phil Courchesne in Suite 16 for episode 23 of Richard Fortin Presents. With no further ado, Mr. Driven from Within. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being
Thanks
here.
for having me. Yeah.
And being so patient and kind and forgiving.
No, it's good. I appreciate being here.
Let's just come out with the truth. We recorded a fantastic interview last week, and somehow the gods of digital media blew it up. So we're doing it again. To be. And the first question I sprung on you was, why Driven from Within? What's the deal with your name?
So I started rapping when I was grade 9 in high school, and I was a huge basketball fan. It was kind of the thing I went to. And I was also really inspired by Michael Jordan. He had this documentary about him, like it was an older one, not The Last Dance, because that one was really good. But he had one years ago when I was younger, and I watched it, and I liked his mentality. I liked the way that he saw things. And I found him to be kind of a role model in that sense. And then I read his book, Driven from Within, that I heard of. And I took a lot from that book. I took a lot from his perspectives. So there was that, and I think it just speaks to the fact that personally for me, I've always sort of felt a little bit like the underdog growing up a little bit. So I was never the fastest, the smartest, or the strongest. So I knew that in order for me to be good at anything, that I needed to work just a little bit harder than somebody. It was
going to be the will.
Yeah, and it just didn't come naturally to me, I guess, right? But it was the will, and I felt like those two examples just blended in well with me. So DFW, Driven from Within, that's kind of where that comes from. That's where it started, and it's stuck with me till now.
And it really matches the music. Anybody who hasn't seen the YouTube channel for Driven from Within should go over there right now and watch and see the two videos you've released. They are so well done. Bravo to you, Andrew Sowka, Shawn Sasyniuk, part of the production team on that. Really, really inspiring stuff. And you could see where that edge that, you know, you're tapping into your reason for doing this in those songs, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, and it's something that, like I think all of us want to feel like we do things for ourselves, but in hopes to inspire others. And I think that's a big reason why a lot of people do music. And maybe it's a bigger reason for other people, more so for some people than others. For me, it's a really big reason. It's being able to tap into other people that might have that experience or that feeling, or they're kind of anchored to that emotion that even though that I've grown and I've developed and I've become better throughout my life, and I've still got a lot of room for growth. I'm far from perfect, believe me. But I still want to be able to, I guess the vision or the purpose for other people listening is I want them to feel that. And there will be some, time for fun and all these other things, but I still like giving that sort of powerful message. Yeah.
That's cool. How influential has this area been in what you make, in the music you make? Like, is there any attachment to you? Did you grow up around here?
Yeah, born and raised North Bay.
Born and raised. Did you ever leave to live anywhere?
Nope, I ended up staying, sort of worked out. Maybe for me, I just realized that North Bay was a place that was, it offered everything. I know a lot of people that have left, and then they're like, North Bay is actually a nice place, because they didn't have that perspective. To me, I like that it's not too big, it's not too small, and that I can sort of build a community here. I have, to be close with friends, it's easy to kind of get together with them. So if I had to leave, I would have, but it just ended up working out.
The way I describe it for North Bay, it's like it's just big enough that you can hide and not be seen everywhere all the time, but it's just small enough that you kind of know everybody.
That's right.
You recognize people, but it's not like, I come from Kapuskasing originally, which is like 10,000 people.
Smaller.
So it's way smaller,
it's
right?
the other extreme, yeah.
But North Bay is a beautiful place, and I do think people appreciate it more when they get perspective on the world.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's like you said, it's big enough to have your own privacy, but it's also small enough to get that sense of community, which is something that's important for me, is being close to people and having access to those people. Just be like, some of my closest friends live like down the street from me.
Yeah,
and I like that.
Yeah, that's awesome part of life in a smaller community. I'd like to get to your inspiration for the type of music you're working on specifically. Tell me about it. Tell me what it is that when you're writing that song that catalyzes you to say, like, this is it's not easy to produce a song.
No, it's not.
Let's talk about how easy or not easy it is to produce a song.
So I think it's easier to get it done when you're going through something, because then like that you're using that to cope. You're like, I can't just sit here and think about what's going on. So the first song that came out, so on my YouTube channel right now, I've got 2 videos out, more to come. And the first one was, I ended up expecting some unforeseen challenges with some adversity and stuff. And I just want to be clear and mention this, like, I have no bitterness or resent. It was a story that I needed to write. It was a way that I needed to express myself for something that I went through in that time. And it was the final chapter to my experience with that. It was sort of the thing I needed to just say, I'm closing this, I'm burning it behind, and I'm sort of leaving it. And
people responded. Yeah. Were you not blown away when you put it up and the next morning you woke up or something? And tell me the story on that.
My honest thought process was that I just wanted to make it for me to go back and to continue to watch it as something that I did, that I worked really hard at doing and all this other stuff. So I really just did it for me. And also to share with some of my friends and family that knew what I went through in that sort of time. And then then I just got an overwhelming response. I had friends that were calling me up and they were surprised by it. And a lot of that was because it was so well done, especially with the video production and everything. The song was really meaningful to me and I liked listening to it, but the video added that extra sense to the whole story, right? Because you add the whole visual component, and I think that really is what captured people with the song. And then it was funny because
I would argue with you there. I think your lyrics and I think the way you deliver the message, I think the authenticity of your voice, more than
the actual video,
just like the framing. Like, don't get me wrong, the video was well produced. It all has to go together. It all matched. It was all at its, so it's not one better than the other.
Right.
But I do think the element that makes it authentic is the voice. You can't fake that.
Yeah, no.
And you can, and it's not like your video was full of special effects and it's not like it was. It was still a simple video, well done, but a simple idea.
Yes.
But it's what you're saying that's truthful. You just feel it.
Yeah, and I think when I was looking through the comments, people were saying this one hits home for me. When I see those sorts of comments, when I don't expect it to have that kind of an impact, is meaningful in a way that I can't explain. And I think that I obviously agree with you that there's that whole part of it, but then the video brought it all together. And then the next day I ended up getting more views. I thought you had to do all these special things to get, I don't know how YouTube works, but I ended up getting a lot of views and I didn't even think that. I thought I was going to get like 10 people that were going to look at it, but then it ended up being different. And I'm just mentioning that because it was just surprising, and it was something that I appreciate, because that wasn't my intention, was to just make it whatever.
But after that, did it catalyze you or get you excited to maybe do more?
Absolutely. Yeah. Because I thought I was going to be this one video and it was going to be done. You know, it's just kind of like I just wanted to share my story through my art form, and that was it. And then I was like, then you get addicted to that feeling, and then you're like, well, I can't leave people hanging because they wanted more, right? So people were commenting and saying, yeah.
You had more to say.
I had more to say. Yeah. So, and I still have lots to say, right? I still have lots of ideas, like as all artists feel, I'm sure. I still want to be able to make more things and have more ideas.
So what is coming out next? What are you working on now? So
not too long ago, I finished New Man, which you'll find on my YouTube channel, by the way. And that one was a little bit more fun. It was kind of like, I feel like a new man now. You know, there's a few things that I went through last couple of years, and then I'm just happy with the place that I'm at and the place that I'm going. This one here is, in a nutshell, is just kind of a song. I feel like it's sort of talks about you're going to get people that are going to dismiss you. You're going to get people that you're going to get lots of love, but then you're going to get haters. And me, I'm saying, please, haters, go ahead, feel free, speak your mind, because it gives me something to talk about, and it fuels me.
You're not afraid. You're not afraid to. You don't seem like a guy who's afraid to just stand in his own, place and not be intimidated necessarily by people.
Yeah. Well, that's a good observation. That's not how I used to be, but I realized over time that's who I wanted to become.
So how did you train yourself?
I've learned that it's okay to be unapologetically and authentically yourself. I've learned that no matter what you do, people are going to judge you. People are going to think whatever it is. And that's fine, because people will judge and fear what they don't understand and what they don't know. I know the people that know me, and I know the people that care about me and understand who I am wouldn't have that perspective or wouldn't think that, I would hope so anyways, right? So people that don't know you, they're just going to label you and they're going to see something. And also sometimes when you're putting yourself out there and you're doing something, that makes people feel uncomfortable, because it could be a reminder to them about what it is that they're not doing. And I'm not criticizing those people for how they feel in that way, but what I would say is you guys can stay salty, or you can do something about it and better yourself. So when I see someone doing well, like a friend, I'm like, good for you. I want 10 more things like that to happen. When I have a friend or someone that something great has happened to them, I don't get envious of that. It doesn't make me uncomfortable. I find it inspiring, right? So I used to have a fear of that judgment, but I think it's important to get past that and just do what you're going to do. Because if you don't do that, then you're not going to feel the love. You're not going to feel that you had the courage to just do your own thing, and then I just didn't want that regret, I guess, is what I think it's the direction that I'm going.
That's really, really fantastic, really inspiring.
Yeah.
What would you say to anybody who's on the edge of trying to release something, but they're feeling self-conscious? Do you just encourage them to go for it, or do you think,
100%. Like, what I would say to them is, if you are fearing it, then I would say, do it. Right? Like, I know people probably hear that all the time, but it's so true. When you do something that you're afraid of, like, that is where you feel the most alive, right? And that's what is the lesson that can give you to say, if I work hard enough and I do something, and do not be afraid to fail. Don't be afraid to fumble the football. Don't be afraid that you're going to say something stupid and that you shouldn't have said that. All of those, like, thousands of failures is what so I'm going to give a Michael Jordan quote. And he said, I'm not saying exactly, but this is what he said. He said, I fail and I fail and I fail, and that's how I win.
Yeah.
Right. So that was just how he was. And in a sense, Michael Jordan's experience growing up, the reason he's like that is because his dad was hard on him and kind of always giving his brother more attention than him. And he just wanted that sense of approval kind of thing. And I would say, not to be too personal, but I love my father. He's a great man and he's awesome. But I kind of feel the same way in that sense, where I was sort of seeking that approval. So I resonated with his story. And then, he said in his documentary, what you were is what you become, right? So he's always looking to that. And it didn't matter because he was an adult and he got passed. But if somebody walked by him and was talking trash to him, he's like, okay, that's all he needed. And he'd go and he'd score 60 points, you know? And I'm not a Michael Jordan, and I'm not claiming to be, and I'm not going to make it to his level, but I can still use that mentality, right? And anybody can.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You could be influenced by anybody and inspired and
absolutely
let yourself be transformed. It sounds like you've done a lot of personal work. I don't know why I sense that, but it sounds like you're pretty reflective. Are you philosophical at all? Do you read philosophy?
My name is Phil. Right? I am, yeah. And that's a joke that my friends always tell me, you know, philosophical Phil. Are you philosophical? Yeah, I am.
What philosophies make you kind of align to? Anything in particular?
That's a good question. I think it's like I want to know why I feel the way that I feel, and I want to understand human nature as best as I can, so that it helps me understand my nature, so that I can make more informed decisions that are going to serve me better, if that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure.
So I like to know like the motives of people. I like to know the motives of myself. I like to be able to know what it truly is that makes people happy. What are the more important things to focus on? Yes, I love making music, and you know, it's nice to get lots of views and things like that, but I like to still stay grounded and know that relationships, my health, all of those things are absolutely the most important thing in my life, right? So if I do what I do, like I always say this to people, anything that feels good in my life only feels good because I have love. And what I mean by love is like friends that care about me, and that I care about as well. You can accomplish all these things as an individual, but it will never feel as good if you don't have people to celebrate that with you, that actually care about your success. And if they don't, well, then you need to find a new tribe.
Yeah.
You know?
That is so well said, and such wise words.
Yeah.
To live by.
We're getting deep here.
No, I appreciate that. Hey, Darren's given me the cutoff, so I have to stop it there for this time.
Cool.
But again, I cannot thank you enough for coming back to do this and helping us keep this show on the rails for next week. I'm really, really impressed with what you're doing, and I encourage everybody out there to go find Driven From Within, Phil Courchesne online right now. Phil, could you look in here and tell everybody where exactly you want to go? Is there a website? Is there just a YouTube channel? Is that for now, Instagram?
Yeah, I have an Instagram. You can follow me on Driven From Within. That's more just, I post my music on there, and then just general lifestyle stuff. And the main place that you're gonna find me, which I got the 2 music videos, Letter to Both of You and You Man, you can find me on Driven From Within Music. Like and subscribe to videos. It helps me out a ton. And then it encourages me to make more videos, and I hope that you guys like it. And I'll also say, the guy that's interviewing me right now, I really like his vision and what he's doing and the crew he's got going on too. I know you're interviewing me, but I've got to give you a shout out, man. I got it.
Hey, I'll take it where I can get it.
Yeah.
I appreciate that big time. Everybody go subscribe to his channel. Go see what he's done. You will be very impressed. I sure have been, since I've discovered him just recently, and I can't wait to see where it's gonna go. I'm kind of suspecting it's gonna keep going up for Driven From Within, because when you are driven from within, you know you're authentic and you're real, and I think that resonates, and I think we need more of that. So I'm not surprised that these 2 first videos have blown up for you, and again, I just hope to see more.
Thanks,
so keep
man.
it up.
I appreciate that.
And subscribe to the channel here, share it with your friends. I really do appreciate it. Darren, thank you so much for everything you do to make this thing happen. And let's make sure to hit save. Right, as soon as we say cut, we hit save, and we're good with 23. Hey, 23, Jordan's number.
Isn't that weird?
Wow.
That's spooky. The universe works in funny ways.
Thanks, guys. Bye.